If you're going to gamble, you better do it on a sure thing. Whether you're looking for the Diamond, Executive, VIP, or Premier experience, hotel accommodations are limited, so you better place your bets fast. And get ready for what is truly going to be an extraordinary experience. The 10X Growth Conference 2020 in Las Vegas. Reserve your seats while they last.
Now we've got liftoff. What's happening, y'all? This is your main man, Frank Kern. Welcome to this week's version of the Lead Magnet. And what we're going to talk about today is how to use the internet to get customers for a local business, right? So this is specifically for folks that have, like, I don't know, car dealerships, restaurants, lawyers' offices, doctors' offices, furniture stores, Crazy Eddie's House of Anything locally. This is for you, the traditional business, the backbone of the country. All right, and as usual, if you have any questions, need any help, just want to ramble on, need some spiritual advice maybe, some medical advice, we got you covered over here at the Lead Magnet Show. Call 305-865-8668. Hey, you remembered it, probably because I just wrote it down right here on the whiteboard, 305-865-8668, and we'll be taking callers live throughout today's show. So let's talk about how to use the intranet to get customers for your local business, your brick and mortar business. All right, so a little bit different, actually dramatically different than an online business presence, meaning a website where you actually sell your stuff online. You know, so again, this is for if you're like selling stuff locally. Kind of made that point pretty clear. Okay, so thing number one that you got to keep in mind is your sales process. All right, which you undoubtedly have. Man, running out of room here. There we go. You undoubtedly already have a sales process. Sales process, fancy way of saying how you turn a browser into a customer. So this could mean, like, for example, if you got a furniture store, your sales process is probably dude walks into the furniture store and he's like, hey, y'all got any of them sofas? And you're like, I got one right there. And he's like, I'd love to have that one, I'll take that one. Real basic, right? If you're an attorney, your sales process is probably someone calls, then they do the consultation, then they come in, then they become a client. If you're a car dealership, the sales process could be someone calls, hey, you got one of them Chevy Tahoes? And then they come and they take a test drive and then they become a client. Whatever it is, okay, and you already know how your sales process works, here's rule numero uno about using the internet to get customers for a local brick and mortar business. The internet is not meant to mess with this. The internet is meant to put people into this. Okay, so with that said, here's the trap you could run into. Let's say that you're, let's say that you're a furniture store. Well, I'm talking about my main man, Rob, and his furniture store up there in Naples. His sales process is people come in, they look at the furniture, they're like, I'll take that one. Now, a lot of internet agencies, I don't know what that old saying is, to a carpenter, every problem looks like a nail or something like that. A lot of internet marketing people think that no matter what the business is, you got to get someone to fill out a form and then follow up with them. But a furniture store like that one, if we did that for that guy and said, okay, like free report reveals how to get couches or whatever, what's he going to do with the leads? Like, it's not part of his sales process. He doesn't know how to follow up with these people and chase them down. And what's he going to do? Write them a report about couches or whatever? So it doesn't work. So always keep this in mind. You don't want the internet to interfere with your sales process. You just want to make the internet put more people into a process that's working better. Thing number two is your website. And we're just going to write this out. Yo, web site. The website needs to do one thing and one thing only, which is to drive people into your sales process. All right? Most businesses, brick and mortar businesses, God help them, they've got these beautiful websites that look like brochures. It's kind of like if they traveled back to 1987 and went to a print shop and said, make me a brochure that's just going to look really, really awesome, and then took that brochure and put it online. That's what their website looks like, okay, which is really, really cool, except it serves no purpose other than to look really, really cool. So your website needs to do one thing and one thing only, which is initiate the sales process. All right? And if you've already got a fancy looking website, I'm not necessarily telling you need to build a new one. You just need to build a web page that does this, that you can drive internet traffic to. So what does this mean? Initiate the sales process. We'll use our main man, Rob, as an example. All right, so if you go to his website, which is, I think, thefindconsignment.com. Just Google The Find Naples, Florida, and you'll see his actual fancy website. You'll go to it, and you'll see that it looks like this. All right, so here's a box like this. Right up here in like microscopic lettering, there's this phone number, and then it's got like one of those slider graphics with like logos and stuff. Okay, and then there's like a button for a store, and then there's news and blog and things like that, okay? Now, how does he sell furniture? This dude, right? People go to the store and they go, I reckon I like that couch right there, and he's like, well, I'll give it to you, and then he sells them, right? So if people go to his actual website, like the one that he paid someone a whole bunch of money to design, only part of this process, the web experience that the browser is going to have, is if they happen to have unbelievably good vision, they'll see the dude's phone number right up here at the top, and maybe they'll call him. The logos and stuff do nothing for you ever, all right? So people don't like buy logos or whatever, so that's just a complete waste of space. If you click on the store, what happens is they're taken to another page with a couple of pictures of couches and stuff, and it's essentially incomplete inventory. So it might have 5 pieces of furniture where my man's got like football field sized warehouses of inventory. There's no possible way, unless he pays someone a small fortune, that he's going to be able to keep up with all the inventory in that warehouse and put it on his website at the same time. And it doesn't even really matter, because it's not like the customer is going to order the sofa online anyway. He is a local brick and mortar company bringing the local brick and mortar people in there to look at the couch, buy the couch, whatever, right? So this thing's done tore up too. If you go to the news section or the blog section, you'll see articles dated from 2017. So when we first started working with this guy, we're having really, really good luck. And I was noticing, however, that lots of people were going to the site, which was cool. Like our campaigns were actually designed to get them to call them or just go to the store, which they were. But people were still going to the site, and I was like, man, here are the changes you need to make to your website. Can you make them? And he's like, how do I make them? And we're just like, what the hell with it? We'll just build something for you, you know? So we built a site for the guy that looks like this. And if you have a local business, this is how I want your site to be laid out, or at least your page that you're sending advertising traffic to, okay? So his page looks like this. It's got pictures, I'll just say pics, of some of his inventory, right? So it's like that slider stuff, so you can see a couch, you can see a bed, whatever. Then it's got some copy. The copy says something like, hey, we got way more inventory in the store than we could possibly put on this website. If you have a question, or if you're looking for anything in particular, and then it's got 2 buttons. Number 1, call. Number 2, click for directions. Now, if you look at this website, now, and this is the whole site, by the way. This is it. There's nothing else on there, okay? And it's just like one little landing page that we built them. Now, imagine this customer experience, right? They like saw an ad for a couch or something, and they're like, are you telling me 5 callers? Good Lord, okay. Saw an ad for a couch or something. They click over to the website, and now they're like, oh, here's some couches and stuff. We know they're not going to buy a damn couch off the website anyway. They got to go sit on it, make sure it's comfortable and all that kind of stuff. His sales process is this. People either call him or they come to the store, right? So their only options on this webpage are to click this button that says call, which incidentally pops up a do you want to call the number thing, especially if you're on mobile, which we're able to track, by the way. Or they can click, and this will open up Google Maps, and they drive right to the store, all right? That's all your website should be doing. The reason we're having them call or ask for directions is because his sales process, going all the way to point number 1, his sales process is that people either physically come, actually they always physically come into the store. Sometimes they call first with questions, right? So that's all this thing's supposed to do. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of callers. Good. So let's take one of them. Do we have an easy, oh, now she's on the phone with somebody. Let's interrupt her while she's on the phone with someone.
Yeah, you've got Tony in Miami.
This could be hard. Miami people, a little faster rolling. What's happening, Tony?
Hey, Frank, how are you?
Didn't expect to answer in mid-sip. Sorry about that, man. I'm well, dude. Thank you.
Terrific. Frank, I just have a couple of questions.
A couple?
I haven't. Well, one main one.
Okay.
Basically, I started an e-commerce business, a website of a clothing brand last February.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what I'm in the middle of doing now is just getting the name out there, right? To all of social media and so forth, just organically. And my question is, I also purchased the webinar that you guys did on the 6th,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes with that, so I saw the webinar and so forth. That the application which you guys sent me, like client acquisition and everything that comes with that package, should that be done for branding of a clothing line?
No, but I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm drawing a giant skull and crossbones on the screen right now because you said something that's scary to me, which is I'm just getting my name out there. So if you're paying for that, it's just like dead, right? Because you've always got to be getting people into a sales process. So here's what to do in e-com, right? So because I think ultimately your question is, hey, what should I do to make this damn clothing thing work, right? Like if we were to translate it, and I were to say,
I'm getting the brand out there organically. I'm the one posting constantly all over social media.
Mm-hmm.
I have a website that's operating. Okay, except I need sales, man. I need to scale it.
So you need to sell stuff, yeah? Because it was breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, I need to sell stuff.
So now we're going to get a little mathy, ladies and gentlemen at home. We're going to get all hopped up on math, but we got to, especially for this. Okay. So what are you selling? Is it like shirts, pants, stuff like that? Hats?
Yeah, t-shirts, hats, pants.
Okay. So thing numero uno.
Website now if you want to check it out.
So here's what we got to know, right? Before we even look at the website or any type of marketing, what we got to know is what is your average order value? So if someone were to go to that site, let's say we sent you 1,000 customers, on average, what would they spend?
You're looking at anywhere from, I would say the average would be $30.
Okay.
Yep.
And what is your margin?
My margin is anywhere from 80 to 100%.
Okay, so if you sell it for 30, what are you making?
I'm making about 100%.
So you're making $15?
Yep.
Cool. Okay. So the very first thing we got to do is answer the question is, can you acquire a customer for under $15, right? Or for $15 or less? Because even if you get one for $15, the secondary question is, what else can you sell them and how soon, right? So that's like, if we don't fix that, then you're in a whole lot of trouble. So the first thing I would want to do is I would want to work on getting this guy up a little bit higher before you even started like running ads and driving traffic and stuff, because a $15 net on order number one is pretty tough.
Right.
You know, you're spending like $2 a click or something. You're going to have to convert 1 out of every 7 visitors in order to make that work, and that's kind of a mofo. All right, so
gotcha.
That's tip number one. And so, how do you do that? Okay, so method number one is going to be pre-transactional upsells. All right, and what this means is a fancy way of saying order bumps. All right, so an order bump is when you have an order form, and here's the thing that you're buying, blah, 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 and then you're going to have a little checkbox that says, yeah, I want to have the hat that goes along with the shirt or whatever. They can check it and add it instantly to their cart. So that's thing number one. You know what would be cool? I wonder if this works. Hang on, y'all. The next thing, oh man, that doesn't work. All right. Next thing you want to have is post-transactional upsells, also known as one-click upsells. So this means, whoops, wrong button there, sorry. This means dude came to the order form, bought your stuff, he either said yes to the order bump or not, then you have one-click upsells. And they might say something like, hey man, thanks for buying the shirt. you want to throw in some pants along with it, right? And they click yes, it's instantly added to the thing. And you might want to have like
It's like a funnel.
3 of these, yeah. Because ultimately, that average order value, that's got to be high because your cost of traffic ain't going to be cheap.
Right.
It's not. So now that we've got that out of the way, the question becomes, okay, how do you drive traffic? Lowest hanging fruit, likely going to be social. I would start with Facebook and Instagram. They're both run on the same platform. Instagram is great for e-com, by the way, really, really good. So this might even be your lowest hanging fruit right here. And I would start by like showing images of the clothes and targeting the demographic of the people that normally buy the stuff and sending them to a page that's already offering your very best seller. So if you got 100 items and 80% of revenue comes from item, A, that's the one you want to advertise first.
Okay.
And that's what you do. That's it. But without getting that average order value up, we're playing a dangerous game because it's hard to make any money, $15 net at a time. Exactly what I showed you, pre-transactional upsells and post-transactional upsells, and then of course, follow-up.
Right. Do you guys, so I would have to build or add like a landing page with a funnel that does that?
Yeah, like if you're using Shopify, they've got little add-ons and plugins and stuff that do it, so it's not particularly difficult, but without it, it's a challenge. It's going to be tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, do you guys handle building funnels and landing pages?
We do not. No, we'll build landing pages like I just described.
Right.
Like we built for Rob. We do that for folks. But no, we don't build out all the complex funnel stuff. And I wouldn't get anyone to do it, dude. Like just Google how to build like one-click upsells and Shopify and stuff because your plugins are there. It's not particularly hard. And if you've already built the store, then you can add this on. It's not going to be like awful or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that was a long one.
Right.
I almost forgot where I was in the thing. Let's, what do you think? What do you normally do in these things? You take another one or do I continue on with it? You continue on with the thing is what Natalie says. Now, where were we? We were talking about them websites is what we're doing. All right, so number one, internet doesn't replace sales process. Internet drives people into sales process. Thing number two is that the website you're sending them to, its only objective should be to initiate the sales process, right? So we use that example of my main man, Rob. We had to rebuild him a landing page. We know that his sales process is initiated by someone either calling or walking in the store. We built a page where that was the only two things we could do, okay? Rule number 3 is go obvious. All right, now here's the deal about advertising stuff on the intranet, okay? 99.999% of all internet ads are sold to you, the consumer, on something called a CPM basis. Real boring term, it means cost per 1,000 impressions. That means you're paying X dollars for every 1,000 times your ad is shown. Now, if you're paying every time someone has the capability of seeing your ad, doesn't it make sense to only show those ads to people that are highly likely to want to buy your stuff in the first place? Yes, of course it does. Now, the thing is, with the overwhelming majority of small businesses, most of their ad spend, if not all of their ad spend, is spent showing ads to people who probably have zero interest in what they're selling. So like when you run a newspaper ad, for example, even though newspaper can work, the newspaper goes out to 200,000 people. You're a podiatrist or something, probably 0.001% of all the people that see that thing actually have foot pain, right? So when it comes to the internet, you can do totally different stuff. And one of the greatest ways to do this is to go with the obvious by asking yourself, what's a good indicator that someone would already want my stuff? And there are several answers. Number one is going to be a situational indicator. I was having a conversation yesterday with the guy. I got a ride to the airport. My daughters came in from California to see me. They landed at 5:14 a.m. Attention, anyone who owns an airline, trans-country flights you should maybe consider other times besides 5 in the morning. It's the only nonstop flight they had, by the way. Anyway, dude's driving me to the airport. It's like 4 something in the morning. Got to be there by 5:14. We're talking stuff. He's like saying, hey, dude, you know, I want to kind of take this driving business to the next level. What should I do? Right? And I'm like, well, who do you want? He's like, I want people when they land at the airport and they're thinking about a ride to call me so my company can come get them, and I want them to call me before they come back to the airport so my company can take them to the airport. And I'm like, okay, now let me ask you a question. Who is the obvious target for this, right? Well, the obvious target would be if you had somebody at the freaking luggage, what do you call the thing? The luggage carousel. Thing? The luggage carousel, baggage claim. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're world travelers here. At the baggage claim, if you had a guy at the baggage claim going, hey, you need a ride, but he wasn't like scary. Like that would be the perfect situation, right? If you had like some non-freaky looking person going like, hey, if you need a ride, like go over there, okay? Well, you can do that with something called geofencing, all right? So what geofencing does is it allows you, let's say this is the baggage claim, it allows you to draw an invisible digital border around a specific geographical area that can be as small as 25 square feet, by the way. And anyone who comes into that little border carrying a mobile phone with their GPS services turned on, which is like most people if they use Google Maps or location services or any of the 9 billion apps out there that communicate with the cloud, they're going to have them on. Anybody with a phone that's got that stuff on, that phone will be tagged and his ads can be shown to them. All right, so anyone that walks in the baggage claim, now boom, his ads are going to be on their phone. And if you're using this methodology, ads will appear in apps. It'll also appear on other websites in the form of banner ads. All right? So doesn't it make sense that if the dude just gets off the plane, he's standing around baggage claim, he's like, oh man, I guess I'm going to have to get a ride. He doesn't want to call Uber. There's a lot of people out there, by the way, myself included, that won't call Uber. Because they're like, how do I know the Uber guy is not a murderer? Like, y'all ever called Uber? And like, but for the record, Uber's a wonderful company. We love them. Don't sue me, Uber. But have you ever had like the Uber experience where you're like, am I cool with this dude? Is this guy going to murder me right now? Like, I'm a little bit uncertain. Huge portion of the population does that. So the cure for that is something called executive transportation, by the way. That's what I use, like, you know, fancier transport. So doesn't it make sense? Dude just gets off the plane. He's looking around, probably doesn't want to call Uber. You know, some people do, some people don't. He's going for the uppity folks to show them an ad that says, need executive transport? Click here, right? And then where are we going to send them? We're going to send them to a web page specifically designed to initiate the sales process. In this case, it's just a phone call. And on mobile websites, you can do click to call, which means you click the button that says call us, it pops up the number, you click call, boom, you're good, right? But that was just the first half of who he wanted, right? Since he's already tagged everybody that was at baggage claim today, tomorrow, the next day, ad infinitum, he could do a little Google research and he could figure out the average length of stay for someone who comes to Miami, Florida. Let's just say it's 14 days. So now he can also, for the next 14 days, be showing these people ads all over the internet, whether they go to weather.com, CNN.com, like any combination of millions of other websites, using like 600,000 different apps will show these ads on them. He can show an ad that says, when you're ready to go back to the airport from your fun trip in Miami and you don't want to be weirded out by some dude that might be a murderer, not that people that work for Uber could ever be murderers. They're a wonderful company. We love them. Click here to call us and we'll give you a ride in one of our fancy Suburbans or whatever, right? Now that is the single most obvious part, all right? Single most obvious thing you could do because that's your perfect target market. The other one, by the way, other than situational, in this case, the guy's in a situation. He has gone on vacation. He's going to need this ride. We know he is our perfect person because he was at baggage claim. All right, and people don't usually fly with their own cars. All right, second one is going to be called competitors. Probably come up with a cooler name for that, right? And this is, so imagine this situation, okay? You're a local business in what do we want? What do you want? We want a diet weight loss clinic. How about that? We got ourselves a weight loss clinic. Me and you are in the weight loss business. Clearly it's not working for me, but we're going to sell it anyway. Okay? So we're in the weight loss business. What would be the most, like if we're spending money to show ads to people, and it makes sense to only show people who are probably going to want our stuff in the first place, where would we look if we had the ability to like just steal customers from competitors? Well, let's see. We got Crazy Eddie's House of Weight Loss, and here in Miami, they probably got Jenny Craig. They probably got, what's the other one? Weight Watchers. All right. They probably got gyms. All right, so we could literally just Google Jenny Craig, Miami. Other ones too? Club Med. Club Med, never even heard of it, obviously. All right, Club Med. So we could Google Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Club Med, Miami. There's probably 15 of these in total, because it's a pretty big city. And we could do that same thing. We could draw that little digital fence around that property. Anyone who walks in one of those things, now we're saying, hey, you know, this is better than those or something like that, right? Might want to have a little bit better ad than that, but you get what I mean. Same thing with a gym. We could get, like, there's a gazillion gyms in Miami. Want to accelerate your fitness? Want to accelerate your weight loss? Want to lose weight faster without working out as much? Come on down and see us, right? So that's your second, like, super obvious way. Come on down to Crazy Eddie's House of Weight Loss. Listen, you need to lose 15 pounds. Boss man's out of town. We've gone crazy. You can lose 20 pounds for free, for nothing. Come on down and see us. Natalie's going to be handing out free beer and cocktails all day long. You want some cigarettes? We got cigarettes. They don't make you hungry when you're smoking them, right? So it's like, please, the offer still stands, by the way. If anyone's got crazy anything in your name, and you want me to personally do the voiceover for your commercial, I'll do it for $0, just so I can like have that experience. All right. So those are two like really, really obvious things, right? Like just go where the fish are biting. That's what we say here. And the agency is like, dude, we want to go where the fish are biting. If you're going to have to spend money to show people ads, only show the damn ads to the people who are probably going to buy your stuff, right? The next one, by the way, next obvious thing is list retargeting. And this is actually not obvious. Most of your competitors will have never heard of this. Let's say we got that same situation. We got Crazy Eddie's House of Weight Loss. All right, and we're here in Miami. Now, what else is a good candidate for somebody that would potentially and most likely be our customer? Well, there's a saying. And the saying is this: buyers are buyers are buyers are buyers. And what that translates to in the marketing world is if somebody is a buyer of something, they are a buyer of a lot of that thing. Like when I lived in California and surfed all the time, I got to a point where I had 30-something surfboards. You can only ride one at a time. Reason why? A buyer's a buyer. When someone buys stuff, they like usually buy a lot of that kind of stuff. So with list retargeting, you could literally call a direct mail list broker and you could say, you know what? I want people who buy weight loss stuff that live in Miami. And you could even say, but not any weight loss stuff, I just want supplements. And then you could say, but I don't want just any people. My ideal person is someone who is female between the ages of 24 and 37. And I want them to also be within 5 miles of my clinic. You can actually get that list, and then you can upload that list to the internet and only show those people your ads. Now look at what's happening, right? Now you're getting people that are going to Jenny Craig. Damn it. Locally, you're targeting everyone who walks into Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Club Med, gym. And now you're also showing ads to people who are buyers of weight loss stuff. Incidentally, when you do this, you can talk to your list, or you can just have us handle it for you, obviously. But you can get, like, when you talk to a list guy, you can say, and I only want people who've done this in the past 30 days. That means they're hot buyers, right? So now we're like really showing ads only to the single most obvious people, all right? And your final thing, well, it's not the final, but it's the final one we'll talk about today for local business, is something called search retargeting. I came up with a cool name for it, which was search term takeover. Okay, so you and me, we want to buy something, right? We're kind of interested in it. we're going to go to the Googles, all right, the Googles, and we're going to type in weight loss Miami. Now, if me and you are like most people, we're not going to go, well, there's site number 1, I'm going to call them and immediately give them money. No, we're going to look at a bunch of stuff, get sidetracked, and then like not do it, and then eventually like be reminded of it and do the weight loss thing later. Now, most of your competition, they're paying big old dollar bills for AdWords and for search engine optimization to be number 1 when somebody goes to the Googles and types in weight loss Miami. But if we know inherently that the average person who types in weight loss Miami sees the website, doesn't immediately go to the website and say, here's my money, what the hell's the purpose of doing all of that, right? Like, you're just throwing money down the toilet if we know most of them ain't gonna buy it, so why are we paying all that money for them to be there? Instead, with search term retargeting, what you can do is, because of all that cool technology I was telling you about, where like, if you got a phone that's connected to the cloud and you got GPS on, like everything you're doing is being sent to ad networks, which is both good. It's good if you're using it, and it's a little bit unnerving, you know, from a privacy standpoint, but we can't change it, so you might as well exploit it, right? So the fact that you went to Google and you searched for weight loss Miami, we wouldn't mess around trying to be number 1, because we know the person who's doing that search probably ain't going to buy the same day anyway. Instead, we're going to take everybody who did that search, and we're just going to show them your ads every freaking day all over the internet for a month or until they buy, right? So these are really little known, I should say, strategies for how to get customers from the intranet specifically for a brick and mortar business, right? Can you use some of this stuff for e-commerce businesses? Sure. But this is really, really easy for brick and mortar businesses, because what you end up doing is, with all these like audiences I just described, you end up targeting like a pretty small group of people, maybe only like 3 or 4 or 5,000 people. But for a smaller ad budget, you're able to be in their face all the time, where like they cannot escape you. They're going to see like your ads just constantly. And since it's not that huge of an audience, you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. And the final thing about this is it's trackable. So we have the ability as advertisers, if we're using this technology, to set up something called a conversion zone. And a conversion zone is a fancy way of saying this. You know how we were able to, like in that earlier example, draw the digital fence around the baggage claim? We could also do the same thing around your store. And then you'll know, it'll actually track anyone who saw the ad here. It'll track every time one of them comes here, and it'll tell you. So now you know exactly how many customers you got from the internet instead of having to guess, which is pretty good. If you want us to do it for you, ease on over to CardoneKern.com. We don't actually mention it on our website, but tell them Crazy Frank sent you. Fill out the little application there, and we'll help you do it. CardoneKern.com. And I think that can be, oh, you want to take one? Natalie's just making me work, y'all. Trying to go to lunch. My kids are in town. She don't want me to be a good parent. She's like, hey, listen, you're probably going to live at least another 30 minutes, you know? And your condition, you've got at least a good 2.5 years of life left in you, Frank. You can see those children later. Who's on the phone here?
Kelsey in Pittsburgh.
Kelsey?
Kelsey.
Kelsey? Hello, person in Pittsburgh whose name we probably messed up unintentionally. How are you?
All right. Hello, Frank. How are you?
Is it Kelsey or Halsey?
Kelsey, you got it.
Yeah, see? Natalie's just trying to make me look dumb. She's doing it on purpose. I don't need help in that department, Natalie. I got this looking dumb thing on my own. What's happening up there? What can I help you with?
Well, Frank, thank you so much for taking the call. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed your webinar the other day, too. That was fantastic.
Would you say, like, I was the favorite over Grant?
Well, Grant, you gave Grant a run for his money for sure.
Yeah, so what that really means is you preferred me over Grant, is what you're saying.
It was a very well done webinar.
I'm glad that we have mutually agreed that you, Kelsey, in Philadelphia, have like officially, for the record, stated that you like me better than Grant. Anyway, how can I help you?
So, Frank, I own a ballroom dance studio here in Pittsburgh, and we're getting the traffic to our website, but I find that the conversion rate that actually contacts us whenever they go through our website has not been as high as we'd like. And what would you recommend to do, or how would you recommend setting up the website so it would be more attractive to convert?
Well, first of all, how are they finding you?
Mostly through Google searches and also through Facebook and some YouTube.
Okay. So you got a pretty high level of intent, it sounds like. Like they're not just randomly stumbling over it. You're like showing them stuff and hey, if you want to know about dance classes, go here.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. I would make the site very, very simple.
Okay.
So I would have it, I'd definitely build a mobile option for sure.
Okay.
Would you say most of your people call you first or they just show up?
Well, we specialize in private instruction, so we work one-on-one with our clients. We do have to meet with them. So mostly they're going to call or they're going to contact us through our form on the website.
Okay. I'm going to have you do a little video and then I'm just going to lay it out for you here. Hang on.
Okay.
There you go. So I want you to like really, really make the site very, very simple. You want to have a big headline here that says something like, hey, if you want private one-on-one dance instructions, watch this. And then your video is going to explain how everything works. And in the video, you're going to say, listen, if you want to get started or you need more information, you got two options. You could either press the big old call us button right below the video, or you could fill out the little form, press the button beside it, and we'll give you a call back. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you later. This, I would make a click to call button.
Okay.
This helps a lot. You can just tell your web person, hey, make that a click to call button on mobile, and they can do it. And what that means is that they press the button, it'll have a little dialogue will pop up on their phone that says, do you want to call 1-800-555-1111? And they say yes, and kablamo, they call you.
Perfect.
And my guess would be, and without having seen it, your website's probably more complicated than this. It's got all kinds of stuff on there. Am I close?
Yeah, it probably has a bit more than it needs for sure.
Yeah, so in this case, we got only two things they can do: call or submit the form. You know, and so that's like when you look at websites that aren't performing properly, 99.99% of the time, it's because they're not designed to meet the objective. And your objective is to have them call you, and it's designed to do a lot more other stuff. So if you were to go to CardoneKern.com right now, it is a letter and a form, the end. Right? Like there's nothing else you can do besides either fill out the form or leave. Now, what I do want you to do, since you're actually running media, is go heavy on retargeting.
Okay.
So if they go to this website, then they need to be seeing you everywhere, right? And I also want you to do it for search term retargeting. It's going to be cheaper than your PPC that you're doing. So if they Google like dance lessons, I forgot where you were, not Baltimore, Pennsylvania?
In Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, I'm just so overcome with gratitude that you openly admitted that you preferred me over Grant that I kind of lost my place. You know, so I mean, I hear it all the time, but still every time I do, it just kind of, you know, it's touching. So anyway, anytime someone Googles that term or Google's private dance lessons and they are in Pittsburgh, I would hit them with site retargeting, or rather a search term retargeting for sure. Because like most people, you know, I mean, we don't usually like buy in that first search session. So you want to stay in their face all the time. So site visitors and search term takeover is a strategy that I would definitely recommend. And hey, you might as well, like, I don't know what places they would physically go that would be indicators that they're probably looking to take dance lessons, but one might be the dance shoe store or whatever, like if there is one. I remember my girls did it for a while, and there's that brand that begins with a P, Piezo or something, you know, so like you could geofence, so it also geofence. If there's enough there to do.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, and so if there are like clubs, you know, that do ballroom dancing or whatever, I would definitely geofence those. Because the chances are the guys that are going there want to get better, and you can show them how to get better. So that's another strategy. Yeah, for sure. Man, actual questions. These are good. I like
This
these.
is so wonderful. Thank you. That's fantastic.
Yeah, well, the people that prefer me to Grant, I like to take extra care of them, so. Yeah, I'm glad we got that on tape too. Okay, cool. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for being on the webinar the other day, by the way. I appreciate it. If y'all need any help with this, you want us to implement these things for you, go to CardoneKern.com. And there's a little letter there that mentions none of this strategy that I talked about, by the way. We're in the middle of redesigning the website, but fill out the form anyway, and we'll tell you what we can do for you. And if you like what you hear, we'll do it for you. Thanks so much for watching. Take it easy. See y'all later.
If you're going to gamble, you better do it on a sure thing. Whether you're looking for the diamond, executive, VIP, or premier experience, hotel accommodations are limited, so you better place your bets fast. And get ready for what is truly going to be an extraordinary experience. The 10X Growth Conference 2020 in Las Vegas. Reserve your seats while they last. If you're going to gamble, you better do it on a sure thing. Whether you're looking for the diamond, executive, VIP, or premier experience, hotel accommodations are limited, so you better